Good morning or afternoon, everyone. I am Ms. Lysick, and I'm going to be walking you through our Playposit today. Our lesson is going to focus primarily on paragraph writing and ways to improve our written expression and add in descriptive details. First, we're going to get started with a quick warm-up. You're going to see this question pop up in your Playposit. Go on ahead and answer it, and when you're done, you can move on to the next step of our video. So what makes a good paragraph? There are two key things we're looking at when we have a paragraph. We're wanting to see unity, that it focuses on one main idea, and that all the sentences in the paragraph work toward that idea. So in the same way that if you went to the beach, you would be dressed for the beach, you wouldn't then suddenly put on, a top hat or high heels, because that would be weird. So you want to make sure everything in your paragraph goes with the same idea. You don't want to have a random top hat or high heel in the middle of a paragraph all about going to the beach. So make sure that everything is organized under that main idea and it relates back to it. And moving into organization, you want to make sure that you plan things out. I know sometimes students feel like brainstorming is something that teachers give you as busy work, but it's really not. And in fact, when you plan out what you're going to write, you save yourself time. You want to make sure that you have an idea of where you're going before you start getting there. You wouldn't just get in the car and drive somewhere. You would have a plan to get there. So keep that in mind. And then finally, we're looking at a basic structure of between 5 and 7 sentences minimum, okay? So just keep that in mind as you write. So the analogy we're going to be using today is that paragraphs are like burgers. If you don't like burgers and you want to switch it to sandwiches, that's cool with me. Okay, but with the burger, you have your topic sentence, that top bun, okay, that introduces you to what you're about to eat. Then you have those 3 juicy reasons or details to support that topic. And then you have a concluding sentence that kind of just ties it up before you move on to the next thing. So what does that look like? Here, I've pulled a passage from Terrible Typhoid Mary, a true story of the deadliest cook in America, by Susan Campbell Bartoletti. And this is a paragraph that's about Mary settling into her new job as a cook. As Mary settled into her new job, no one cared that she kept to herself and spoke little, for she kept her hands and fingers busy in the kitchen, showing off her culinary skills. Hand-cranked rotary beaters and peelers made some tasks easier, but she did most of the work by hand. The mixing, the rolling, the kneading, the beating, the paring of vegetables, the slicing of apples and peaches. Cooks like Mary also washed dishes, swept and scrubbed the kitchen and storeroom, and cleaned and polished the stove. So when I break that down, I see that topic sentence, which is kind of a long one. As Mary settled into her new job, no one cared that she kept to herself and spoke little, for she kept her hands and fingers busy in the kitchen, showing off her culinary skills. So all of this is going to be about Mary's job and how she kept busy doing her job. And then we have all these really meaty details about exactly what she was doing in the kitchen and how she was doing it. And then it wraps up with the final little task. Not only was she cooking, she also had to keep the kitchen clean. Okay, so everything in the paragraph is organized appropriately. So you want to kind of keep that in mind as you write. How can you support your main idea with really great details and then close it up nicely with a bow? Here's another example from Rhythm Ride by Andrea Davis Pinkney. It's a great book, great voice. This paragraph is about Marvin Gaye and Mr. Berry, who was the guy who was sort of in charge of Motown. So, but for all that smooth singing, Marvin was very shy and short on confidence. Whenever it was time to perform, he had more than butterflies in his stomach. He was plagued with big winged bats who had a flapping party in Marvin's belly every time he was about to go on stage. As much as Marvin loved to sing, performances were painful for him. Whenever he sang, though, the ladies in the audience went wild for his soulful tenor baritone voice. Berry took notice of this and made a commitment to help develop Marvin into a more self-assured entertainer. So, looking at that topic sentence again, for all that smooth singing, Marvin was very shy and short on confidence. So that's the main idea. It's about how Marvin Gaye was a great musician, but he was terrified. He had bad stage fright. Then we have all those juicy details, and I love that big winged bats who had a flapping party. That stands out to the reader. Okay, and then we go through all of the other things. The audience loved him. He loved singing, but the process was painful for him. And then we conclude with Berry's decision that he's going to kind of help Marvin Gaye get over this fear. So that's the first step. You want to make sure that you have main idea, supportive details, conclusion sentence. Then you want to go through the next step, which is revision and editing. Revision is when you're checking for unity, making sure everything sounds good together, making sure it all works well together. Okay? Editing is when you're checking for those grammar errors, those misspellings, and those typos. So with revision, we have the idea of arms. That's where you're adding sentences and words. You're removing unneeded words or sentences. You're moving a sentence or a word placement, or you're substituting words or sentences for others. As you see, that's more about the craft. Okay? How does it all work together? How can you improve it? Editing, however, is going to be more about the mechanics. So we're looking at capitals, making sure sentences, the beginnings of sentences, names, places, months, titles, I are capitalized. We're looking at usage, making sure your nouns and verbs match up correctly, or pronouns and their references are the same. Checking your punctuation, making sure that you have commas where they're supposed to be. And then checking your spellings. And guys, spell check is A-OK to use. So please keep that in mind as a tool in your disposal. So here are some things you want to check for. You want to check for word choice. Did you choose the best word for the job, or is there a better way to say it? Can you make something clearer? You're looking at organization. Does everything flow in a way that makes sense, or does it feel kind of choppy and like things mix into different places? You want to look for unity. Does everything kind of go that main idea, or do you have sort of an outlier in the paragraph? And then you want to look at that grammar again. So looking at that, when we look at this paragraph again from Terrible Typhoid Mary, word choice, organization, and unity, the word choice, she's got some good $10 words, culinary, hand cranked, but also I love her organization, how she kind of made it a series of lists. Mixing, rolling, kneading, beating, pairing, slicing. And then she goes to wash dishes, swept, scrubbed, cleaned, polished. Okay, that similarity in sentence structure gives us a sense to the busyness of Mary's day. Okay, and once again, with Rhythm Ride, we look at the way she uses word choice to make sure that her paragraph stands out. We get those big winged bats. We get the ladies loving his tenor baritone voice. Okay. So here are some revision strategies you might want to employ. Reading aloud. Guys, I still do this as a 40-year-old woman. When I'm submitting something for a class, I read it out loud to make sure it sounds right before I publish it. So kind of keep that in mind. Also highlighting. There are a lot of different strategies you can use with a highlighter. You can highlight every comma and then check to make sure they're all used correctly. Or another strategy I like is highlighting every other sentence and seeing, like, do your sentences kind of change up across this paragraph, or are they all like the same length? Take a blast, take a part of your writing and see if you can kind of explode it. Annie Lamott talks about a 1-inch frame, describing just 1 inch of something. And when you can give that little 1 inch a lot of your attention, it makes it incredibly expressive. Then another strategy I like is graphing, and that's where you count the number of words in each sentence and plot them on, a little line graph and see, am I kind of going back and forth? Is everything all the same? And because you want to have some of that variety where you have some short sentences and some long sentences. So, and here are some other strategies you might want to use. A written expression strategy, 3-word combinations. Take a common noun in your paragraph and then put 2 descriptive words in front of that noun, separated by commas. So bear becomes big grizzly bear. Baby becomes screaming, crying baby. Coffee becomes hot black coffee. Okay? It gives you imagery and it's giving you detail. So you're going to have a chance to do that same thing with this sentence. One fall morning while walking down the street, I noticed a piece of paper blowing in the wind. Select one word from this sentence and tack on 2 descriptive words in front of it separated by commas. Another written expression strategy is like a flip-flop sentence. So you start the sentence with a sentence fragment that ends in an ing verb. So digging in the backyard, running around the neighborhood. Then you add a comma and a complete sentence after that fragment. So digging in the backyard, my dad found an unexpected surprise. Running around the neighborhood, she realized how many neighbors had put out their fall decorations. Okay, so it just changes up the structure of your sentences, because a lot of times kids will write, I feel, I think, I am, and it gets very redundant. So you're going to do the same thing here with the sentence fragment flying through the air. tack on a comma, and then submit or add a full sentence behind it. Okay, so once you've completed those tasks, I just want to kind of give you a heads up as to what to expect for this week. First of all, you're submitting your hamburger practice paragraph, you're doing quiz 3.02, and your class connect attendance quiz on Friday. Regarding your hamburger paragraph topics, you are choosing one of the 3 topics in OMHS. So you can choose, if you could be any planet, what would you be and why? If you could live in any time period, which would you choose and why? If you could be any number, geometric shape, or mathematical function, addition, subtraction, etc., what would you be and why? You pick one of those topics and then write a well-developed paragraph explaining your choice. So thanks so much, guys, and have a great week.